I want to put an edging on this piece of crochet, and I've started with putting a base round around the entire piece with 3 single crochets in each corner stitch so that it will lie flat. And I've worked that base round using the same color so it really blends in here. I've marked the corner stitches, and ideally I will have the same number of stitches along the long edge, this edge and this edge, and along the shorter edge, this edge and this edge. And ideally they will be in the multiple that I need for my border pattern. My border pattern tells me that I need a multiple of 4 plus 1. When I count the stitches that are between the marked stitches, in other words, I'm not counting the corner stitches here, but just the ones in between, I see that I have 20, 21, 19, and 20. So that's not exactly what I want. One thing I could do is go back and redo my base round so that I have the number of stitches that I need, top and bottom and side to side. Instead, I'm going to show you how I can fudge the stitch count to get the multiple that I need. First of all, let's think about what that multiple is and what that means that I need on each side. My pattern says I need a multiple of 4 stitches plus 1. So given the fact that I have 20, 20, 21, and 19 stitches, that means I really need 21 stitches. 21 is a multiple of 4, 20, plus 1, 21. So I need really 21 stitches on each edge to work with my multiple. That means on this edge and this edge, I'm going to have to fudge and add 1 stitch. And on this edge, I'm going to have to fudge and add 2 stitches. I want to start with this edge. My pattern says to do a standing single crochet and 2 more single crochets in any corner stitch. So I'm going to begin with this marked stitch. I'll take the marker out so that I can get my hook in and do a standing single crochet plus 2 more single crochets. And then I'm going to work a single crochet in each stitch across, and I don't have to do any fudging on this one because I have the right number of stitches to start with. I had 21 stitches along this edge. When I come to the corner stitch, I want to put 3 single crochets into that corner stitch. Then I'm going to put the marker back in the corner so I don't lose track of which the corner stitch is. On this next side, there were 19 stitches to begin with, and I needed 21 stitches along here. That means that I need to add 2 stitches along this edge, and I want to space them out evenly. So let me work 1 stitch in each stitch till I get about 1/3 of the way across. Now I'm going to work 2 single crochets in one spot and work to about 2/3 of the way across and work 2 single crochets in the next spot, and that will bring me up to that number of stitches that I needed to have. 3 single crochets into the corner and then replace the marker in the center of those 3 single crochets. On this side I had 20 stitches and I needed 21 stitches. So I will just add 1 stitch at some point. This looks like a good point. Put 2 stitches in there, so that increased 1 stitch. And I'll do the same thing on the last edge. I'll add 1 stitch. At the end of the round, I'll work my last stitch and then join it to the first stitch with a slip stitch, or you can use an invisible join, and then fasten off. I want to stop at this point and make sure that my edging is still lying nice and flat. It's not waving or bowing in, and that I have the same number of stitches on opposite sides. And because I have done my first round and adjusted my stitch count, I should have the correct stitch multiple. When I count the stitches between the marked stitches, I find that I have 23 stitches. And I checked, I have 23 on all sides. That's good, but why do I have 23 when I was talking about 21? 21 was the number I needed to start with on my base round before I started my border pattern. When I did round 1 of my border pattern, I increased at the corners and I added 2 stitches to each side. That's why I have 23 stitches on a side now. Round 2 begins with a standing double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in any corner stitch. So here's a corner stitch that I've marked. I'll move that marker. Standing double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in that first corner stitch. And then chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, double crochet in the next stitch. Repeat that all the way across to the corner stitch. I'm at another corner. I can remove the marker, and I don't really need these corner markers anymore because I will be able to see where the corner is from here on out. In the corner I put a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in the corner stitch. Then chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet into the next. Because I had the right number of stitches and the right stitch multiple along this edge, I was able to land on the corner just when the instructions said I should be able to. So I will repeat this all the way around, and because I was careful to get the multiple that I needed, each time my corner instructions will land right when I'm at a corner all the way around. The round ends with a double crochet, chain 1, skip that stitch, and slip stitch to the beginning double crochet, then fasten off. To begin round 3, start in any corner space and work a standing single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. And then simply work chain 1 over the double crochets and single crochet into the chain 1 spaces, and single crochet, 2 chains, single crochet in every corner space all the way around, and join at the end of the round. I see something that started to happen here. See how this is bowing in or cupping in? That's because this dark green round is too short. I'm not going to change the instructions that I'm crocheting by, but I am going to go back, rip out, and make my chains a little bit longer between those single crochets, and I think that will help allow this to lie flat. I'm going to keep the instructions the same, but adjust my crocheting just a little bit. If you see this happening on your work, stop and do a little bit of diagnosis to figure out what's going on, rather than have it look rather than being unhappy with the way it looks and always trying to make it lie down flat. Go back and address the underlying cause of the problem. Look at the difference it made to just go back and make each of those chain 1 spaces a tiny bit longer. It's now lying nice and flat without any of that bowing in that I had before. Another option would have been to put more chains in each corner stitch, but I like this fix better. Round 4 begins in a corner space, and I'm beginning in a different corner space just so my ends will be not near each other. It'll be a little bit easier to weave in those ends later. Start with a standing single crochet, then 4 half double crochets. And a single crochet in that corner space. In the next space I put 4 half double crochets, and a single crochet in the next space. So I alternate half double crochet shells with single crochets in each space all the way to the corner. The corner space gets a single, 4 half doubles, and another single, all in the same spot. Then just continue around. The final half double crochet shell goes into the last chain space, and then you join it to the first single crochet, and on the last stitch I like to join with an invisible join. So to do that, I don't actually join with a slip stitch. I cut the yarn and pull it through. With the tapestry needle, I'm going to go under the V of the first stitch here, like that, from front to back. So I'm going under both strands of that V, pull the yarn through, and then go back down through the center of the stitch the yarn came out of. When I do that, I create a completely invisible join. If you'd like more instruction like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the links in the video notes for other ways you can find me. Thanks for watching.